Happy Tuesday. You are listening to Real Talk with Karen Stacy live on MiamiMikeRadio.com. And tonight I have my dear friend with me. His name is John Toglia. John, say hi.
Hey guys, how you doing?
Did I say your name right, by the way? How do you say it?
That's the American pronunciation. The Italian pronunciation would be Toglia.
Toglia.
Because the G and L would be,
yeah. See, I like that sexier.
You could say Toglia. That's the American.
That's sexier. I like the way you said it better. But
boy.
yeah, I wasn't sure if I had that right. But John, you were on my show when I was a newbie. I was a newbie.
Yes.
And and I remember I think my plan B, right? Because I think I had something happened and a guest canceled or something.
Yep.
And I needed a guest and I had put it out there on Facebook land and
I
you
reached out to
messaged
you.
me.
Yep.
And
I didn't know you from a hole.
Right. We didn't really know each other.
And I'm proud to say we've become very good friends.
And I am blessed. It really. I mean, you said you wanted to come on, and you said, would you like what were the words? A washed up rock star, as you called yourself,
yes.
Right?
Yes.
Which is a terrible thing to say. And you honestly, and I don't mean this because of your musical abilities, but you are definitely the furthest thing from a washed up, rock star, because you are actually way too kind to have the stigma of a rock star. Because when everybody thinks of a rock star, you think of women lined up, waiting to get in the room and everybody's on their knees. And that's not the way you are at all.
That's not me now at my age. 30 years ago was a different story. But
I see. All righty then. And cut.
But life changes, Karen.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And like I said, I reached out to you. I know we talk about a lot of things, me and you, and we just played the beach club and we were hanging out together, freezing that night.
Yes.
But the band, we had a good time, and you were hanging out with your friends, and I got to see Noah again, which was really cool.
Yes. Well, I was fighting hard last year to get you guys in there.
Yeah.
And we made it happen.
We made it happen, and the people at the club are very happy. Because there's a lot of members from the former club we used to play at that's now closed.
Right.
And a lot of people are happy about that. And we're happy. We love being there. I mean, we're all from Southern Westchester. We know so many people from down there in New Rochelle and Bronx people, of course.
Right. So for some people that are probably listening on the radio right now or might be in Italy.
Buonasera, Italian.
John is a member of Who's Your Daddy, which is a band that is you basically are in. You do Westchester, correct? Is that
we do. It's the New York tri-state area.
New York tri-state area. So, just in case you guys, that's where John comes from. Well, that's where the rock star thing comes from, right? So now, how long have you been with Who's Your Daddy?
This is the 15th year of the band.
Holy shit!
So it's really nothing to sneeze at. 15 years of doing this and entertaining people, and having a lot of the same people come back and see the band after all these years. People have gotten married. We've played people's weddings. We've played people's kids' weddings.
That's crazy.
Which is amazing. And it's an interesting journey that has been,
Right.
We're all unique personalities. We're all different, but we're all on the same page. And for a band to be successful, I say this all the time, and we've spoken about this.
Right.
You need to be on the same page. You could have your differences and have your arguments, but it's very much like a family.
Right.
You argue like your brothers and sisters, but in the end, the common goal has to be there.
Right.
In order for the band to be successful.
Unity.
It has to be unified.
Right, absolutely.
And we've been through a lot of members that have come and gone. Basically, the same foundation has been there for a long time, which is me and Vinny Piazza and Mike DiBartolo, the drummer who started the band.
I didn't know he was the one that started the band.
Mike started the band. Yep, Mike started the band. I mean, Sheena's in the band.
I love her.
Going to be 11 years this year.
She's amazing. She got some pipes on her, let me tell you.
Marcello's in the band at least 7 years now, the guitar player. So it's like, the people are here now are the people that are relatively staying. Everybody's had kids, been through getting married, most of us, and the keyboard player Mike has 2 twin girls and a young son, and he's still doing it.
Yep.
You know,
I remember when we did
our interview on the rooftop.
Yeah, so last year after you and I did our Washed Up Rockstar show. I came and you guys were at Mickey, Molly, Maggie's. I don't know which one I always call it.
Maggie's Rooftop.
Maggie's Rooftop. It was like 700 degrees. It was right after, it's the 4th of July weekend.
Yes, it was the 3rd of July.
The 3rd of July.
And the humidity was like on
8,000.
8,000. And it had just rained.
And
the sun came out.
It was soaking wet. The entire
They
upstairs
dried off the deck as best as they could.
Was soaking wet. And we were dripping sweat.
And everybody, you sat down and talked to almost everybody. And
we did, and now, and it was, and so Mike, right, is the one that has the twins?
Yeah.
Right?
Mike's got the twin girls.
Right, so he has twin girls, and all of his children are like under 5.
Yeah.
Right? So I said to him, when the hell do you sleep? I mean, it's crazy.
It's crazy.
That I give a lot of credit, and Vinny, the singer, he has his son is
9.
like the same age
Alexander's
as Noah.
9.
I met him.
You met him at the beach club. Great kid.
Yep.
And you met Vinny's wife April, who's been through the entire journey of the band with us. This whole time. And the 7th member of the band, I got to give props to him because he comes in for the big gigs. My buddy Chuck St. Troy, I always say from Las Vegas, Nevada, but Chuck was born in Yonkers. He's a Yonkers guy. I would not be in this business today if it was not for a couple of people. And Chuck is one of those people. He mentored me at a young age. He taught me what to do on gigs that I had no business playing as a young guy. Weddings, bar mitzvahs, stuff like that.
He is one cool cat.
And he is a tremendous talent.
Cool cat. And you know what? He is a tremendous talent because he actually... When he sat down and talked to me when we were doing the interview, I was like done with all of you guys. I was like, all right, me and Chuck will just stay here.
Because it's amazing the people he's recorded with and played
also,
with.
He's a hairdresser.
He's a hairdresser by trade.
Right, by trade. So we have something in common there. His daughter, I believe, is a hairdresser as well.
He's got it in the family.
Yeah.
I know that.
I mean, there's so many things. And he's a cancer survivor. Mm-hmm. So he's actually supposed to do the show but unfortunately, when he's in town around that time, the July 4th thing, he has a gig, so he's not going to be able to do the show. But we'll find another time.
We got to find some time.
Yeah,
for he'll be in for the summer. He's going to be in sporadically because I think he's playing almost all the summer dates with me. So you guys could see Chuck, saxophone, lead vocals. Chuck plays. He's a multi-instrumentalist. He plays all different instruments. Yeah. And like I said, I owe a lot of my musical career. He's one of the people.
That's awesome. That's really, what? That's awesome though, because in this business, in the entertainment industry, sometimes egos get in the way. In a huge way. And it's nice that you guys have this support for one another. Do you find that in this business that you have, do you battle with that type of animosity or I don't even know what's the right word? It's amazing. Competition? It's amazing I don't know what it's called. How some guys act. And I'm going to put this as direct as I can because this is real talk and you wanted me to be real. It's real. And I'm going to be real. You have no other choice. I've been doing this a long time. A lot of these guys are my peers. I respect all of them. I have a lot of really good friends who are successful in this business. Mm-hmm. Steve Budgie Werner, who played with Ace Frehley. Mark Hidd, who has played with Cheap Trick and Rat Race Choir years ago. Tim Curtin, who is a legend, played with Pig Vomit, Howard Stern's band. Yeah. I'm fortunate to know Mark Clark, who was my bass teacher, played with Davy Jones and the Monkees. Nice. So I'm fortunate to have these guys in my life that I've looked up to and been mentored by, But then you get these guys that are really nobody, who think they're somebody, and it's just a reflection on a bad precedent in the business.
where we're all playing cover gigs. We're all playing the same bars. We're all playing the same clubs. We're all playing the same restaurants.
Right.
We're all
and
doing
you
the
have
same
a similar
things.
following.
It's the
somewhat.
same people coming to see the same bands on most of the time.
Right.
And you have these guys that have these egos that think who they are, and it's a bad reflection on guys that are giving back to you. You're playing for your friends and for the public that wants to be entertained. They want to come and dance. They want to sing along.
Sure.
So hence you're playing covers that are party type covers and fun type covers and radio hits, like you always say.
Right.
You know, and to have an ego and think you're a guy that's like somebody, it's like the somebodies that I know don't think they're anybody. And a guy that I got to give huge props to is Richie Scarlett, guitar player that played with Ace Frehley. He's played with Mountain, with Leslie West. He's been around the world. Richie, if you see this, you are the nicest guy in the world. I love you to death, bro.
That's awesome.
And you are an incredible talent. Incredible. And he holds no animosity towards anybody, and he has no ego whatsoever, and the guy's phenomenal.
So
you know?
I always try to use, and you know this, I always say be humble and kind. Because you know what? It's not, if you're good at what you do, then that shines brightly. You don't have, if I have to tell you that I'm good at what I do, then I'm doing something wrong, right? So, you know, I think that unfortunately in this world, depending on the type of person that you are, you know, I'm a more spiritual person, and like the ego has no place in our worlds. None. It's the ego it means absolutely nothing. If you ever like research or learn about spirituality, which I'm sure you know, the ego is the ego self is always the part that they tell you have to not listen to.
Right.
The human part. The human side, right? The ego. So that speaks volumes, because if you just gave props to so many people. Right, because you're gracious, you're humble, you're kind, and there's a big enough world, right? Because if I say, well, I'm a better guitarist than you, what does that mean? What is that going to do?
It doesn't mean anything when you're all playing the same places.
Well, it doesn't mean anything, period. Whether you're doing the same, it doesn't mean anything, because it's talk is cheap, number one. And if I got to put you down to make myself look better, then what does that say about me?
And I say this all the time. Your actions always speak louder than words.
Hello,
so
real talk.
When you treat people with kindness and you open yourself up, like even in these shows, it's a very open experience. I've learned that all these years, and I've always been a friendly guy growing up. I always had that kind of upbringing. My dad used to say to me all the time, if you have nothing nice to say, don't say a word.
Yeah, you're not the first. You know how many guests came on this show and said that? I mean, it's crazy.
Until somebody's going to keep poking the bear.
Right.
And then you have your limitations.
Do you poke the bear?
But this is what it is. You're very open when you're on that stage.
Absolutely.
You know, and I say this to you all the time. It's like, I'm conveying something to the people. We're playing songs, we're having fun, we're joking. You've been to so many gigs, you know what we do and how we bring people in to the circle.
Well,
and
it's emotional for everyone involved, because you are an artist. So when an artist is creating, that's an expression, right? So that emotion goes out to your public.
Exactly.
So the energy that you put out, and sometimes, you know what, we have a bad day, right? So maybe you get up on the stage and you know what, maybe you had the worst day ever, your coffee spilt in the morning and it was bad from that point forward, and you get on the stage and you're like, I can't believe I got a fucking gig tonight, like I want to go home, I want to close off.
You know exactly what's happening.
But you get on that stage and all of a sudden you feel that energy, right? And you have a great crowd, and all of a sudden you're like, yes, this feels good, and you just go.
Once you see a few smiling faces, it brings you down to where you have to be.
Up.
Like you'll see,
up
up to where you have to be, or on the level of what you need to do to entertain.
Absolutely.
And you know, another guy, no ego, that's been playing with us, and plays drums with us and subs in and out is Tom Seguso.
Yep.
He plays with Southside Johnny and the Asbury Jukes. He's a phenomenal drummer.
Yes.
And a great, great guy.
And a real wise guy.
And he's a wise guy.
Wise
you know him.
ass, a
But
real
you know
wise
what?
ass.
He's
great.
humbled in what he does.
Great.
He's on tour with Southside
Yes.
Johnny, and you'd never know it. He's
Yes.
a regular guy. And I got to give Tom some props because he's a good guy.
No doubt. Well, yeah.
And
I am definitely with the band. I always joke
Karen-
around. I'm
Karen
either with
is
the
with the
band
band.
or I'm with the DJ. I gotta be with somebody now.
Exactly.
That's it. I'm with the band.
No,
or
listen.
I'm with
Let
the
me
DJ.
ask you something.
Oh, boy.
You're an entertainer, okay? What is it like when you go to a gig and there's a DJ as opposed to when there's live music? Like, how do you how does that make you feel? Like, what do you sense from the crowd? Like, how is it?
So it's a different vibe, and I guess it's like anything else. It depends on what kind of music the DJ is playing. It depends on what kind of music the band is playing. It depends on how good the band is. So sometimes with live music, you don't know what you're gonna get because the sound may be terrible, the vocalist may be awful. I've gone to bands where you can't hear the singer at all, and the music is just so loud that you can't even enjoy it, and you're like, oh my god, I gotta leave. So I mean, when the band is good, the energy is a little different, but it's different because you're. Like I'm the rock and roll girl and I'm the freestyle girl. So I love both equally, but it's a different head for me. When I go to see you guys play, I throw on like my ripped jeans and
you wear the do-rag.
I wear my do-rag and I'm just like, I know it's just gonna get down and dirty and the music's gonna be loud and I'm gonna be by the speaker and it's gonna be that different thing because I'm a rock and roll girl at heart too. So I love that music and it does something to my soul. That being said, I'm a freestyle girl too. So when I go to events and the DJs are amazing, I can't stop dancing. And as far as I want to be near the speaker because I want to feel the vibration and I love the music.
Oh boy.
Yeah, so I mean it's a different vibe, but it can be the same vibe on everything, because especially, it's the band's responsibility to get the crowd going, just like it's the DJ's responsibility to get the crowd going. So when you have a good DJ, then you never stop, and the crowd, and you feel that energy because now the whole room feels that energy.
Right.
So it's it's different. It's similar. It's different, but the same.
Right.
It's just it's a different night. When I go out and I go out dance, especially we have Miami Mike events and some of the events that I host and everything. It's different, but it's meaning. It's different than the live music, but DJs are playing live. It's just that obviously the songs are pre-recorded.
Right,
so.
and they're just mixing them and keeping the beat going, which is an art in itself.
Well,
I got to give props to the DJs because I could never do that.
No, and mixing and all
doing
of that
stuff and listening
drops,
to how it goes.
The drops they throw in.
They do some drops and stuff. Technology is advanced for them as well, as far as it is for live music with us.
And truth be told, I get very excited when they throw in like Bon Jovi or whatever, and they'll put it over like a beat.
Yeah,
like I love that.
Me, not so much, but
no, you don't. I know, but if I'm dancing and I'm jumping or whatever, and they throw that in, and I hear AC/DC. Right over there. Right. I'm like, yes, and I'll be like jumping around.
Well,
so.
I'm going to tell everybody a little Karen Stacy story.
Oh boy.
Okay, we'll go back to the night of the humidity on the rooftop.
Yes.
Okay. The place is packed.
Yes.
There's like 300 people on this rooftop.
And we're all sweating on top of each other.
and we go into what I call the rock set.
Yes.
Even though it's a rock band, there is a select bunch of rock that we play that other bands really don't
metally,
play. That other bands
like
don't
Guns N'
play.
Roses. Yeah.
So we start. It had to be Paradise City or one of the Guns N' Roses songs, and here comes Miss Stacy onto the stage. And she's dancing and rocking out. She's dancing and rocking out like she's a go-go girl on 10. And we're loving every minute of it. And it's captured in pictures.
Yes, which is actually behind us. Right. Me and Vinny.
There's you and Vinny.
Me and Vinny
right.
on the mic. Yep.
Right. But before that, there's a picture of me and you.
Yeah,
and I'm rocking and your back is to me.
Yep.
So in my office... Okay, I'll give a little background on my day gig. I work for the biggest company in the world. It shall remain nameless. I am a manager there to a staff, technology, and I have a wall near my desk with rock and roll posters and some Kiss stuff and some bands I like, some Led Zeppelin. Then I have a couple of pictures, obviously, my family and my nephews and stuff. But then there are pictures from gigs that my staff printed up for me from Facebook.
How cool.
The guys that work for me.
That's really sweet.
So there's one from my birthday of me and Sheena, which I put up. There's one of me and Vinny. There's a couple of everybody. But then there is the one of me and you.
Uh-oh.
Back to back, where you're like this and I'm like this, the guitar. That's funny. It's mixed in with the band members.
I love it.
And people go, "Who's that?"
Oh God.
I go, "That's my friend from Real Talk Radio, Karen Stacy. She has her own radio show on Miami Mike Radio."
And
I give you a plug every time.
Thank you, because I was just about to do a station identification. You are listening to Real Talk with Karen Stacy live on MiamiMikeRadio.com. Mm-hmm. And my guest, John, say your last name sexy like in Italian.
Toglia.
And John, who's your daddy, just did a good promo for me. Thank you very much. That was awesome.
To be in a band is to be in the promo business. You know. And you know what? This summer, we got a whole refresh on Who's Your Daddy products. We're doing the T-shirts again. We did the stickers
I don't
again.
Have any.
No, they'll be ready for July 4th.
Wait, I have
the July 4th week. We got the stickers, right? Which we got the stickers again, which a lot of you guys have that sticker.
I got the sticker.
We've given out hundreds of those on the gigs after all these years.
I don't feel special now.
But we're doing a little plug, and you know what it is? After 15 years, we always want to kind of give back, you know. So we're gonna do the T-shirts and we're gonna do the stickers and stuff for the rest of the summer, and it should be fun. Like I said, we do this. This is all about the fans. I know famous people say it, but in essence, it really is for the people. It is for the follow. Because I say this all the time when we end the gigs. There would be no Who's Your Daddy if it wasn't for you guys
I say
supporting
that all the time.
us every single week when you guys come.
When you're an entertainer, your heart pounds for that. So,
right.
You know, when you have your show, like me, I talk for 2 hours straight, and I'm like, I gotta unwind afterwards because I'm pumped up. Mm-hmm. And, you know, this is what we love to do, right? So when I have people and I do an interactive show and I have somebody saying, wow, I really needed to hear this tonight, or, you know, this was very informative, or I laughed really hard and I was having a bad day, or whatever, that makes everything all better.
Right.
So when you are on, you know, when you're on stage and you're performing and you see somebody jamming out and you know they're in the zone, mm-hmm. I mean, there's no better feeling.
There isn't. I wrote a whole article on that about 10 years ago on how that feeling keeps you going. It's like a drug. It's the best drug you'll ever have.
Absolutely.
It's making people happy. There's nothing like it. You know, it's to keep people entertained and to keep people interested in what you're doing. You know, even for you with your different topics and your different stuff. And it's not easy to keep people entertained.
Yeah.
You got to keep it moving, you know? And in a way, we try to keep the gig like a machine. We try to keep the songs going and the songs moving. And it's hard to do different genres. Some bands can't. Some bands are just dance bands. Some bands are just rock bands, heavy rock bands. Some bands are just pop bands.
Right.
It's very hard to diversify the material.
Sure.
And we try to do it as best we can. And I tell everybody, people meet me and they say, well, what kind of music do you guys do? What are you guys covering? And I tell them, in a set, you're going to hear everything from the Jackson 5 to AC/DC and Metallica. You know,
which is what I love the most. That's what I'm saying. Like, because you play a little bit of, you know, that's the whole thing, is it's a little bit of everything. So people can get up and dance, you know, like you can rock out, but then you can get up and dance. Right. So, you know, to me, it's important. I mean, being diverse, you know, and diversified is big. I mean, I have that challenge even with the show, you know. I mean, we all know sex sells. Right. And, you know, so I talk about, but then, you know, I bring in a spiritual healer. I bring in an author.
Or an author, right.
I bring in, a rock star. I bring in,
a washed up one.
A washed up rock star. I couldn't get the real one. No, I'm only kidding. You try, and I try to do different shows. I do interactive shows. I do, but it's difficult because sometimes it gets stale, it gets old, and people are like, are we talking about this again?
Right. And like you said, like I tell everybody this, everybody's like, how did you get into this? Like, how did you start playing music? Like, what made you, when I say it's in your blood, it's in your blood.
Right.
My grandfather was a guitar player. He had acoustic guitar. He would play Italian songs. He would play what I call gypsy jazz. He'd play this stuff. And I'd be a little kid watching him play, wanting to play his guitar. And then eventually, I got a guitar, and my dad was very much into practice. If you're going to play, and we're going to invest in an instrument, you got to practice, So another advisor or mentor in my life was Dr. Sal Fabrio from the Fabrio School of Music in Mount Vernon, which is no longer there anymore.
I recognize that.
He was one of my first real guitar teachers, and he was one of the ones that said that I could sing. He said, you have a voice and you're not using it, and he really made me practice strumming guitar and singing at a young age. So that's another mentor was Dr. Sal, and his son Guy Fabrio played with Sly and the Family Stone, phenomenal funk and R&B drummer. We're still good friends today. He's been all over the world playing music. Papa Gallo on Facebook, I love you to death, bro. If it wasn't for you showing me the one when I was young and following you on the drums, I would not be who I am today. That's another influence that,
it's so funny how people have no idea how they touch other people's lives, especially when you're young like that.
Right.
You really have no idea, just those 5 words that somebody might have said to you when you were younger. It just gives you a whole other thing. And we grow up and we don't always see them, right?
Yeah.
So it's you don't even let them know. Like my parents, I think, as you know, my parents have a dance school and had a dance school. And there are still people that send messages and say, like your mom, she was like my mom, she is the reason why I am who I am today.
Right.
And, this, that, and the other. And it's just a phenomenal thing because you have the ability to touch people's lives and souls.
And it comes from your family. It comes from your genes. I tell that to everybody. My grandfather, that was my mother's father, would play the guitar, but my dad's side, they were all musicians and artists. My first cousin Angelo is a phenomenal guitar player from Yonkers. Great guitar player, and they all sang and they all painted and did artwork. It comes from, I always say that it is within you somewhere. You just have to bring it out and get influenced. To get it out of you.
But that's everything in life, right? I mean, we never know what we're capable of, and sometimes it's just one kind word from somebody. It's just that little bit of inspiration where all of a sudden it like a light goes off. It's like somebody could say the same thing to you 20 times and it never goes in. And then for some reason there might be that one word. I remember when I was going to my therapist and she said to me, my job is to come in like this, to come in like that, to come in under, to come in on top. I got to keep going until I find whatever words it is that's going to penetrate you that I get in.
Right.
So, and that's the whole thing is that it's always inspirational. When you say that, it makes me think, Mike, his son, what is he, 5?
He's 6 now, I think,
6.
Marco.
So he has his own little guitar.
Yeah, and he's standing next to the
and he goes right next to his father, and he strums on that
Dad's
guitar.
playing the keyboard, and he's playing the guitar.
And and those type of things are amazing. I mean, I had my son on my show, and he was doing his own promos. I mean, they learn and they emulate, and it's an amazing thing to see if they have it.
Right. Vinny's son is also playing drums. Mike's son plays drums too. He's got a little drum set.
There you go.
So there you go. So now Vinny's son Alexander is taking the drums, and he's taking lessons in school, and he's learning about the snare drum and all this stuff. And it really happens when you're young. And listen, my upbringing, I come from, my dad was an Army sergeant, okay?
Oh boy.
And growing up with that, practice makes perfect, and you had to practice. And you know what? Everybody said, "Oh, when did you start playing guitar? When did you start playing bass? You know, you're a bass player now." I didn't pick up the bass till I was 18 and a half, 19,
wow.
when I was at SUNY Purchase.
Okay.
Because there were no bass players. I was a guitar player from when I was like 14, 15. I'm starting to strum the guitar. I get to SUNY Purchase, there's no real bass players. So I said, I got to start playing bass to get in a band here. So all of a sudden I started playing bass, and before you knew it, I practiced my butt off. And that's how I got to be a bass player. Nothing is really handed to you. You know that, Karen.
Listen,
I mean,
that's the whole thing,
you know,
is that everybody
you
thinks
have to hone your craft.
Yeah, they think it's
know?
easy. You just get up and you just talk, or you just get up and you play, and you know, and everybody thinks it's easy, and no one understands what it takes to get there.
And it's listening to music all the time. And the best musicians that I've worked with, everybody listens to music all the time. I just played with my guitar player Marcello, Vinny, of course, and myself, and Danny Cavazzi from Superhero, who plays the drums and is a phenomenal singer. All he does is post albums that he's listening to all day, whether he's at work, he's at home, and now his son is influenced. We're all big Beatles fans. He's listening to albums that I forgot existed.
Well, that's what I was just about to say. That's amazing, because like me, like I listen like to, you know, so we have our DJs and stuff, and they play stuff, and I'm like, oh my God, I haven't heard that song. And I'm thinking in my head, like I know the song, but I'm thinking in my head, how the hell do they know to put that song on? Like, how do they remember that? I was listening to something today. I was at the gym, and I have DJ Surge has an app, and I was listening to that a little bit, and it was just old. It was like a little bit of everything, and it really was a little bit of everything. It was crazy, and I'm like, how the hell? Like in my head, I'm saying, how do you remember to score? Because they still got to find all of those songs. So that's coming from their creativity to do that. Like, how the hell? I can't remember what I ate 5 minutes ago.
And you, that's everybody. That's another thing people say to me. Another guy I got to give props to, and I call him my bass brother, is Bobby Devlin, Yonkers' own, great bass player. He not only plays the bass phenomenal and sings amazing, he builds basses and works with wood and puts instruments together. He does all my repairs for me. When I need something done, I love you to death, Bobby. Got to give you props. But he's another guy that listens to so many... This guy can sing Black Sabbath. He sings Ozzy. He sings heavy metal like it's nothing. And then all of a sudden Sinatra comes on, and he'll sing a Sinatra song like it's butter.
Love it.
That's how talented Bobby is. But listening to all different music and having that upbringing of culturing yourself around different music makes you a better musician. I tell everybody that. Same thing with you. You're listening and having different people on the show makes you a better host with the different topics you have to discuss.
Well, thank you. Yeah, I mean, you try. I mean, it's not always easy, and a lot of times, I have, it's about having content to listen to as well. Because sometimes I got to tell you, I can't listen to people because they kill me. So I'm just like, all right, let's get through this so that
Well, at the midway point of the show, we'll have some advertisements, and then we're going to go into all of Karen's Gavone boyfriends.
Oh, here we go. Yeah, right. Okay. You know I love you to death. You must know something I don't know, but that's all. Yes, you and your things, but yeah. Well, but you know what? I gotta say, you have been so complimentary to everybody. Like, you have nothing bad to say. I don't know how I feel about that. You gotta have you got no animosity anyway. You're just peace and love.
Listen, you have to be. I don't want to say politically correct, because I say what I want to say. A lot of times.
Well, we all know that Karen messes that up big time.
No. But like, I'm trying to tell you about the other bands that are so-called competition to us. But a lot of them are our friends. I mean, we talk about FDR Drive. Great band, phenomenal music, dancing. You dance the whole night. The vocalists in the band are tremendous. Johnny Zed is one of my guys I grew up with. I love him. Marianne's phenomenal. The other singer, I forget his name, Victor, I think his name is, he's great. The whole band is just great, and that's what they do, And then you got a band like Sugar Rush that's been around almost as long as we are.
Yeah.
My buddy Kenny Chioki, another close friend of mine that I know for years, him and Linda, they do a great job, and you dance the whole night. They're a phenomenal band. Then you get into some bands that do different things, and there's some rock mix, like like House Arrest, like my buddy Joe Mercarella's band. They do a lot of different things. And Midlife Crisis, my buddy Frank Petrarca's band, they do a lot of different things. And the reason why I mention these guys is because we try to do with these other bands is we try to do a combination thing where we take a couple of us from each band and we get together and we do a night.
And you guys jam out.
Right. Where we did the Killer Clowns that night, we call it. And it's funny because we call it the Killer Clowns for a reason. Because in one way or another, we've all been referred to as clowns in the music business.
Oh.
So we call it the Killer Clowns. And me and Joe came up with the idea. And we took pieces of all of us from different bands. And we got a set list together. And we played stuff that we don't play with our other bands. Some stuff we do. But we did other stuff that we kind of love. Like one-hit wonders from the 70s. Disco hits from the 70s that we don't do with our bands.
Okay.
So we try to do a different thing and do this combination jam, which is a lot of fun. And like I said, you say you're in competition, but everybody plays the same gigs. Everybody knows each other. The crowd follows all the different bands. When you're all playing on different nights, a lot of the crowd gets separated. It's where it is, what it is. What I feel bad about is any band that wants to start up. And a lot of guys call me, I'm starting a band, I need some help, I need this. Anybody, that needs help, like getting into gigs, or if I know this owner, that owner, I try to help these guys because I know them from some instance or another within this business. When I had Primetime Studios I used to manage in Pelham, was a rehearsal recording studio in the 90s. And we had all these guys rehearsing when they had different bands before they did cover music. So I try to help these guys out because it's not easy when you're starting. The club owner wants to know, what's your following like? How many people are going to follow you? What do you play?
Right.
What do you guys plan on getting paid?
Right.
This and that. It's not easy.
Right.
It's not an easy situation.
Right. Well, that's always the thing. Yeah. How many people are you going to bring? Oh, well, let's see. I am going to bring 52 people. I mean, it's not...
I'm going to bring 27 people.
Right. Right, exactly. When you're doing a gig like that, it's not an RSVP. You're not selling tickets. And even if you were selling tickets, sometimes people don't show up. And sometimes people come and they don't have a ticket.
Right, exactly.
So you can never guarantee any amount of anybody.
There's no guarantee in the rock and roll business, trust me.
But that's anywhere.
It's anywhere.
That's any entertainment thing.
Yeah.
You just never know. You can do a gig. I've hosted events that as I'm driving, I had like 20 people text me that they couldn't make it.
Right.
And then I've had times where I thought nobody was going to show up and the place was packed.
Right.
So,
And then you have these instances where, you don't think anybody's going to come and it looks like it's a rainy night.
Right.
All of a sudden the place is packed.
Right.
And then you're playing a gig you're all pumped up for because the advertising went great.
Right, and nobody shows up.
Nobody shows up. You have half a house.
Yeah.
So, and listen, thank God for Facebook and social media now and Instagram
True.
And all this stuff with you guys because we used to sit there and seal envelopes and mail out the band schedule every month. Imagine doing that.
Go figure.
With
pen and paper?
Pen and paper and 200 stamps.
That's a bad
and flyers
word.
and all that stuff. So now the business has changed where you can do a show like this with me and you sitting here and we have all these people watching us.
But not only do we have them watching us, but we have them listening on MiamiMikeRadio.com, which is worldwide. So, like I said, going back, because I love Italy, going back to my Italians that are listening right now, people are listening everywhere, and it is amazing.
Buonasera tutti italiani. There you go.
That you are able to, be all over the world. Like, it's phenomenal.
Yeah, it is. It's
really
amazing. It's amazing where it transcends to.
Correct.
And the thing is, like you said, social media and the way technology is, you could stream and do whatever you want from anywhere.
Yeah.
And it's a changing world. The world has changed.
Yep.
Just like I always say, the music business has changed because of technology. The entire world has changed. You could do... There's so many things you could do now and how things sound different and how things are and reaching people. Just basic stuff.
Yeah, no, of course. Absolutely. You know what? Somebody is actually asking, do you happen to know your band schedule? When you guys are... I'm putting you on the spot right now.
Yeah, you can put me on the spot. I can run down what we're doing this month. Thursday night, we're going to be at the Saxon Grill. Hopefully it does not rain, because if it rains, what happens there?
You know what? Mother Nature. You know what?
These summer gigs are hit or miss.
Yeah.
And we could have a great gig, or we could be rained out.
I didn't know you were going to be there Thursday.
Yeah, Thursday night, we're at the Saxon Grill. 7:30 start. Saturday night, I am at the Sprain Golf Course, not far from here, up off the Sprain Parkway, with the Killer Clowns. We're doing a special jam there with the guys. We're getting the guys together, and we're doing the girl singers from the bands.
Cool.
With the clownettes. So it should be fun.
That's cool.
That's this week. Next week, I'm down in the Bronx at the Ramblin' House on the 15th of June. It's a Saturday. The next weekend, it's a Double Daddy weekend.
Double Daddy.
21st, we're at the Putnam Golf Course up in Mayapack.
Okay.
Which is, that's a gig where they sell tickets for. It's a huge venue. There's hundreds of people that go to that.
Okay.
And then the 22nd, we're down in the old neighborhood in Throgs Neck at Brewski's. So I'll be there, 8 o'clock start. And then the weekend after, I think we're off, or there are gigs that are tentative. There are people calling us, so we might be playing that weekend. You guys can follow us on Facebook at Who's Your Daddy and figure it out there. And hopefully the July 3rd gig on the rooftop before the 4th of July, I could get the wonderful and talented Miss Karen Stacy to come up to the rooftop again.
Oh my!
On that 3rd.
What day is that? It's a Monday?
I don't know. I got to figure it out. I got to look on the calendar. But
wow, that will be our little anniversary.
And then the 6th, you'll be at the VIP. That Saturday, we'll be at the VIP.
Oh, so, awesome. See that? That's awesome. Well, there you go. You're welcome. So you're listening to Real Talk with Karen Stacy live on MiamiMikeRadio.com. And my guest here is John from Who's Your Daddy.
You could just say JT. They all know me as
JT.
Look at my buddy Joe Pastor.
Yes, I know. Well, he was the one that wanted to know, so that's why
I love you, Joe.
I kind of saw that a little bit from, I could actually see that. So I was able to respond to that. So do you like my shirt, by the way?
I love it.
Don't be jealous. For those of you that are not watching on Facebook Live and listening on the radio, I have a bright pink shirt that says, "Don't be jealous." So, let's get to real talk, John. What do you think about that?
Real quick, let me just, Joe, I just want to wish your beautiful wife, Susan, a very happy birthday today. So, tell her happy birthday from me and Karen here on Real Talk.
Absolutely. Many more.
So, what real talk you want to talk about?
Well, I want to know. I have my shirt on. Don't be jealous. So, what do you think? Is jealousy a thing that goes on these
Jealousy is a thing that it green with envy is one of those things. Like I said, I stated the names of the guys I know that are somebodies, and all the guys I know. To get to that level, you cannot be jealous or envious of anybody that's doing the same thing you're doing, no matter what level you're at. And that's how you could tell where they're coming from, And there's a lot of jealousy in this business. It's really terrible. And it has to do with egos. Egos propel that with people. It's not only in sports, it's not only in the music entertainment business, it's everywhere in life. It's at your job. It's everywhere.
Do you feel that people jealous people can sabotage other people?
Of course. Do
you see it happen a lot?
People are evil. People are evil. You see it a lot in the business world. I thank God that the band is so popular that if there's anybody out there that hates us, it's all good because we have so many people that love us. It doesn't matter.
We'll go beat you up.
It doesn't matter because everybody's got people that
they got haters. Everybody got haters.
There's haters, baby.
There's haters.
But you know what it is? You gotta. The world has too much hate in it. And one thing my dad used to say is humble yourself.
That's what I did.
Especially in the eyes of God, whether you're religious or not. But humble yourself because there's always going to be somebody to kick you in the ass.
Check yourself before you wreck yourself.
Chickity check yourself before you wreck yourself. There you go.
That's it.
But you know what I mean? There's too much hate in the world and there's too much animosity and there's too many egos. If you work together,
correct,
you accomplish more.
And I feel that way as well. I think that, but unfortunately, it's united we stand, divided we fall. Unfortunately, I feel that it speaks volumes of the people that don't want to work together, right? Because when you work with other people, especially if there's a commonality, then it just creates a big circle of goodness, right? And now it's just me, I can help you, you can help me, we can help each other, as opposed to going up against one another and trying to make yourself look better or make someone else not look good.
It's not, you could look at it as a circuit or a competition, but everybody's doing the same thing. You're playing the same places. You got a lot of the same people following you around. It's like, I say this all the time. After all these years, we're extremely fortunate we still have people following us.
Sure.
Sheena says it to me all the time. And she's so funny because she says, how does everybody come out every week to see us? This is like, what are they doing, I said, Sheena, they love you. They love us. It's like they're having fun. They want to be entertained. They want to go out. They want something else in their life to let them escape from reality in a lot of ways.
Hello.
And you want to have a good time. You want to dance. You want to sing.
Sure.
You want to hang out with people that like you, where you're well liked. And I say this all the time. There's people in this business I know that don't like me. It's okay, because there's plenty of more people that love me that are not going to say a bad word out of me.
John, you may find this hard to believe, but there are people that don't like me too. Could you imagine?
No.
I know. That's why I love my shirt.
How can you not love this?
You know what? It's a love-hate type of thing. People love to hate me, or they just love me.
But being sensible, Karen, it's like, I don't get angry anymore, because, I say to myself, there could be 4 people that hate me, but the band has 4,000 likes, so there's got to be something.
Plus the fact that, what does that actually mean, though? At the end of the day, what is that? They hate you. Why? And who cares? And who are you? So I mean, we all want, especially when you're a good person and you're clean, if you will, and you're just trying to do your thing, you don't want haters, because that's not what you're putting out there, right? So, it does... everybody said to me, thick skin or whatever. It's not easy sometimes when you put yourself out there, like you said, you open yourself up, you put yourself out there.
Right.
And when people have something nasty to say, or they attack you, or behind your back, they're whispering behind your back, or they're trying to sabotage you, even though they pretend that they're not. All of these different things, which is like, to me, I remember those things in high school. So it's very strange, like as an adult, I feel, I don't know if you experience these things, but and it's hard sometimes to just let it go, because sometimes you're like, wait a minute, like I'm trying to be a good person here, and I got there's enough love to go around.
It's hard. It's hard, because somebody out there thinks you're a beep. We'll censor myself here.
Well, you're allowed. I think at this point I've screwed it up. I curse all the time now in here, so I think it's okay.
Well, listen, I try to censor myself on my hockey podcast because it's about sports, so I don't try to rant so much. But listen, somebody thinks you're a friggin' asshole. They're going to tell the world you're an asshole. But the people that know you, if that person tells them, oh, this guy's an asshole, and that person knows, he's really not. I know him. He's done this for me. He's not. The guy that's saying it looks like a jackass.
Right, exactly.
And everybody, in social media, everybody's brave behind the keyboard. They all want to say something. They all want to say this. They all want to say that. There's one thing about me that everybody knows, and all my friends know this, and I don't know if I have any enemies, if they know it too. If I think you're a fucking jerk, I'm going to tell you, you're a fucking jerk. Fuck off.
Yeah.
I'm going to tell you that.
Yeah.
You're not going to like it, whatever's going to happen, but I'm going to tell you that. Especially if you're acting out and you're hurting people around me that I care about.
Right.
Well, that's the way it is.
But see, that's how I feel people should be in life. Like, I feel that I'm always the type of person. I try not, like, my late husband always would say to me, you don't always have to say everything that you're thinking. Right. So I try my best not to do that, because it's probably too much information.
Sure.
But at the same token, my energy, you can read my energy pretty well.
Sure.
And I'm not a confrontational person. I will walk away. I will not engage in that. It's negative, and I will not engage in that. But you can tell because I will eliminate myself from the situation, and that's it. And people think like I'm stuck up. Oh, she's a bitch. Oh, she's antisocial. I mean,
you're
I've
anything
heard,
but antisocial.
I've heard 1,000, different things, but people don't understand. Sometimes, like, you just don't engage because, when things like that happen, you have to just disconnect from it.
Listen, we're all getting older. Life is way too short, and that's my new motto. Life is way too short to engage and entertain a bunch of jerks that don't like you or are jealous of what you have and where you are. Right. And there's, it's a waste of time. It's a waste of talking. It's a waste of time.
Well, the good thing is that what I was going to say is that I think that people always should know where they stand. Like, for instance, with me, that was my whole point, is that I think people know where they stand with me in the sense that they can feel what's going, if and the people, oh, well, you mad at me or whatever. If I was mad at you, you would know I was mad at you. Like I said, if I have an issue, I address it. I don't go back and forth. I'm not passive aggressive. I don't talk behind somebody's back. Right. Something happens, I say something. Right. And sometimes people don't listen to what you say, though. Of course. I've had conversations with people where I say, well, I didn't appreciate this, and that. Oh, that wasn't, no, I'm serious. I didn't appreciate what you did, and I'm telling you that and as an adult. No, and you're telling me that I'm wrong. So, and
you got to take that as a grain of salt.
Of course, but my point is that you got to, like you said, you got to let people know. Like, people should always know where they stand. Is my feeling, is that I'm always real. I'm real talk. It doesn't mean that you have to be nasty. It doesn't mean that you're a bitch. It doesn't mean any of those things. All it means is that this is the situation. I love you to death, or you know what, we don't really see, and I'll say that, but you know what, we don't really see maybe eye to eye on that. We maybe have a difference of opinion. I'm not really like that. I look at things differently. I do this.
And that's good too. So, and like I said, my new motto is life is too short. If you have something to say, you say it to somebody.
Exactly.
Unless they're avoiding you and they're keeping their distance, which is okay. Stay the F away from me, and I'll stay away from you. It's all good.
Exactly, because that's just a non-confrontational way of dealing with it. And you know what? Sometimes it can't be addressed at that point. So sometimes it's better off, and sometimes that little bit of distance and space will let things diffuse a little bit. You can think. Because sometimes when you're in the heat of something, you're not really thinking, right? So you may be reactory to something that you might react more so than maybe you should have because of the heat of the moment. Right. So as hard as that is, you gotta, that distance like that sometimes is better because it gives you a minute to check yourself before you wreck yourself.
Exactly. And listen, playing hockey all these years is a perfect example. You get challenged all the time, whether you choose to fight or not. Right. Even at the amateur level, I played in the college, high school level. But if you choose to fight, that's a choice you're going to make, and you're going to have to answer the bell. But if you choose to skate away, that's another whole choice. Sometimes, as my dad used to say, in his army way, discretion is the better part of valor.
Yes. Yes, and you know what? And that's a hard. That's a hard tool for me to try to teach my son.
Well, yeah, you're bringing up Noah, and you have to look at things
as
a mom.
Because, like I said, I've had this conversation before. His father would say to him, he was 3 years old. If he does it again, punch him in the face. I go, you cannot tell a 3-year-old to punch somebody in the face. He can't differentiate. No. But now, I've said it on the show. I've said to him, like, you know what? Maybe you gotta punch me in the face. And my son will look at me like, Mom. And I'm like, well, wait a second. Let me ask you a question. How did you deal with this? What happened? Explain to me what happened. So he'll say to me, well, I did this and then blah, blah, blah. And I go, so you tried to do that and then you said whatever and nothing came of it. I said, you know what? And that point, like you said, so turn around and walk away. Because nothing you're going to do is going to change that situation. So at that point, but it's hard because sometimes people think you have no backbone and people mistaken kindness for weakness. And they come to you and they talk shit or they talk shit behind your back.
Right.
And they think that they can continue to do it. Because they think, oh, they're not going to do nothing. Oh, she's not going to do nothing. Oh, he's not going to do nothing. And then all of a sudden, when, the door's hitting you on the way out, maybe, the kindness and the weakness are not, in the same realm. So
yeah,
it's a balance.
Without a doubt, you have to balance it. And listen, the me in my 50s is a different person than the me in my 20s.
You know what? And a lot of people have said that on the show. But the funny thing is that that's great because there are a lot of people that are the same person or maybe worse because they aren't, we're supposed to grow and learn, right? So hopefully the way we dealt with the situation 5 years ago, we're going to deal with that situation better now, whether we're 40, 50, 25, whatever it is. Hopefully we're going to learn from that. Sadly, a lot of people do not. And a lot of people don't take the time to grow and to learn because they're always right. And they're the victim, and it's everybody else's fault, and they don't realize the common denominator. So now we're going to get into some super real talk. Live on MiamiMikeRadio.com. You are listening to Real Talk with Karen Stacy and my guest, JT. So now, we're going into some real talk because I'm segueing in because I talk about a lot of this stuff on the show all the time. And this is like the nuts and bolts of where we are right now. So you just mentioned the 50-year-old you is different now. So, that's a loaded statement, right? So, I talk a lot now. What is your situation? Are you single?
Of course, I'm single.
Okay, so I talk a lot. I mean, I knew that, but I had to pretend I didn't.
Yeah, of course.
But I talk a lot about the climate of dating and the where we're at right now in the world, right? Now, you and I spoke a week or two ago, and you were very passionate when, you were, and I should have written it down because it was just your artistic self, everything just came out.
Flair. A little bit of flair.
I said you were heated was the word that
Why
I
were you
used.
so heated last week?
You were heated, I said. So, but no, which is great because it's passion and I love passion. So, you were saying that you wanted to talk about the fact that I said you have not been on a date
in about a year.
Okay.
In all honesty.
So wait, I just still need to know what a date actually is because I don't think anybody goes on dates anymore.
Well, you're interacting with somebody that you know who's of the opposite sex or whatever it is.
Sometimes, but you don't know them nowadays. Sometimes you don't really know them. You go on a date to get to know them. No.
Yeah, sometimes. Yeah.
Okay.
But. You say, let's go for coffee, we're going to Starbucks, or let's go for dinner, or whatever it is. That's a date to me.
Okay, okay.
Like old school, would you consider that a date? We're going for coffee, we're going for dinner?
I would not consider coffee a date.
So dinner is a date for you?
Dinner would be a date, yes.
Okay.
I think so. I don't know, coffee to me is, it's like a meet and greet type of thing.
Well, that could be a meet and greet setup.
Yeah, I wouldn't call that a date though. I don't know. That's just because it's a very informal thing. But I could be wrong. I mean, you could make it a coffee date. I guess if a
lot of people when they meet on these websites, they start off like that.
I know, but they should. They should
because the guy you're meeting could be a serial killer.
They should meet in a bar because that saying that they say if you don't look like your picture, you're gonna buy me drinks until you do. So if you're meeting somebody online, you should definitely meet them at a bar because the odds are that you may need to drink a lot to get through it. So if you're drinking coffee
you're in trouble.
And the daylight is there, you're going to get really scared really fast and you're going to have a panic attack because you're going to have too much caffeine. So I'm going with no. I mean, as for meeting in a public place and all that, 110%. Exactly. And we talked about this last week. But okay, so anyway, go back to a date. Okay, so why haven't you been on a date?
Listen, I'm going to tell you the honest truth.
Please, because I don't know what mine is.
Being in a band, okay? I meet plenty of people. I've told you this before. I meet plenty of women.
Yep.
You know, it is just, it becomes a situation where even if you like somebody, okay, in my position, they see the guy on the stage that's playing and singing songs. Okay. They don't see the real guy that's sitting in an office, you know, most of the time. You know what I mean? And they need
geek.
The tech geek. They need to know that there's a lot of different sides of me. And I want to really give somebody that opportunity. But when you meet somebody in the bar or in the club coming to see the band, alcohol's involved. And when you're a non-drinker like myself now, you know...
You got to stop that, John. You better start drinking.
Yeah, got to start drinking again, right? So
I'll corrupt you. Don't worry.
So you know what I'm saying? It becomes, you're looking at the whole outlook.
Yeah, you can't do that sober. Stop it. That's the problem, John. We'll get you hooked up in 1 minute. Start drinking more.
Start drinking more. Forget about it.
That's all.
But here's the thing. And then again, we talk about our age group and what's going on. Everybody's got kids. Everybody's got different schedules. Everybody's got ex-spouses that are either in the way or not in the way. Yeah. You know, everybody's got their own thing. People, want to take care of their kids, and their kids are still in high school, or they're going to college, or there is limited time for the relationship window to exist. Sure. And it's different. And that's one of the difficulties I had in my last successful relationship with somebody. Okay. Because there were kids and there were challenges, and it's not that there wasn't love there or anything. We knew each other a very long time. We knew each other's families. We loved each other. It's just things getting in the way and you know, in that aspect. And you know, and I'm not gonna say it's wrong that you're focusing on this. You need to focus on what you need to focus on in your own life. But if you choose to be in a relationship with somebody, there has to be some kind of a balance.
Of course.
And
compromise is always the word I use.
Compromise is the word. And listen, last week when I was fired up and heated, as you say, there was an incident that I can talk to you about.
Oh, okay.
People, you know, names will not be mentioned.
No, we never mention names.
We played a wedding at the Thayer Hotel, and it was a fantastic affair.
I always wanted to go there. It looks like a really nice place.
It's really cool. It's West Point. You know, I was there when I was a kid, you know, with my dad and stuff. But this hotel was nice, and it was a great event. It was 2 people that got married that knew the band and followed us, and we had a great time.
Oh, I think I saw the pictures. Yeah.
The problem for me was... Not that it was a problem.
You weren't drinking.
Yeah, it was emotional because the song that they picked for their first dance that I had to sing was a song by Thomas Rhett called Die a Happy Man. It was a country hit. It was a beautiful song. Okay. And that was the song that was mine and hers song. Oh, and I used to sing it to her all the time. Aww. So now, you know, here I am in this wedding singing the song to this couple, and millions of things are flashing through my mind. Good thing I'm a good enough musician that I got through the song, but you know what I mean. It was kind of emotional. That's the first time I had to sing that song in public and do it for somebody's wedding. And you know, and I told the band, and they knew, and they're always supportive of things going on with everybody and stuff. But that's when I was talking to you, and I was all heated about it, because that kind of gave me a slap of reality, saying like, you know, I haven't gone out on a date to go to dinner with a chick in like a year. It's like unbelievable, you know? It's crazy. Well, you know?
That's why you need to drink, because reality gets a little blurred when you drink. No, I'm only teasing. I'm really not. I'm not trying to tell people to drink. I mean, that's just what I do. No, I'm only kidding. No, I mean, I'm teasing. But it definitely is a different world, and the climate is very different, as I have spoken about. Last week, I don't know if you were able to catch the show.
I did listen to a little bit of it.
So last week I had a gentleman on that, you know, said he did some coaching and stuff, and he was old school, and he put a post up, and he was saying how women are, you know, so broken, and that, you know, it was a bit of a harsh post, but I understood what he was trying to say.
Jaded is the word.
Yeah, I mean, there was a lot going on with that. I think that he didn't really want to come off that way. I think that he was just trying to state that most of the women that he's encountered, are broken and are blaming, like they shouldn't be dating because they're still broken from their ex, so they're taking it out on the new person.
Right.
So he felt that they weren't ready to date, that if they were in that situation that they shouldn't be dating. And then we had a woman that came on afterwards that was, giving her point of view, on it. So it is, and I saw some of the comments after the show, and it is a very sad state of affairs because these were people that are in the dating world, and this is what we're dealing with.
I'm feeding back.
Yeah,
I just want to see that.
these are the people that the climate, and this is what we're dealing with. So my question would be, I mean, now obviously you talk to women
all the time,
right?
All
so
the time.
now, and then, I mean, you haven't physically gone out on a date, but you talk to women. So now, do you feel that that is where the climate is at, like in terms of the fact that, like, when you're meeting women, do you feel that, I mean, you talked about scheduling and such, but do you feel that they're hung up on their past life, that they're harboring resentment towards their ex?
A lot of them are like that, but then there's, like I said, there's other issues, whether there's kids or whether they want to, put themselves out there and whatever they want to do. Everything is a comfort level with that, Listen, I have no problem talking to people. You know my personality. Women, doesn't matter. It's putting yourself out there to throw out the hook to see what happens.
Well, and but we talked about this on my show as well. A lot of people are scared.
Yeah.
So they're like, they're out there, but they only got like 1 foot in. Yeah. You know what I mean? So that becomes an issue because you can't, we want to try to ride the wave, right? Because you always say you don't know what's going to happen. So you can't walk into something saying, I want to marry this person. No. Because it just doesn't work like that. No. So it's like, I just like to maybe get through a night, So you have to start like small. Yeah. But again, we all at our stage in our lives have our own, and I talk about this on the show. We all have our own lives. Hopefully everyone is financially secure. Like you said, life gets in the way. So you may want to, I mean, I saw there was somebody that was offering, Pretty Woman tickets tonight for, and I'm that were free, and I'm dying to go see Pretty Woman, the musical. But, I can't. I have a show to do. Right. So, life gets in the way. We have responsibilities. We have things that happen.
It's balance. I talk about it. Listen,
balance and priorities.
I talk about it all the time.
Sure.
It's balancing your life. It's a life balance.
Sure.
Like I said, and a lot of people who know me, who are friends of mine, even casual acquaintances, they know what I do, and having a full-time corporate job where you are a manager, where you are in charge of a facility and a staff. Right. That's a whole life within itself. Yeah. And then managing the band, which is your passion, something you love. Right. Which takes up a lot of your time. Right. And then there's everything else. I got a bird home that's like my kid. Everybody knows who Ringo is, Right. I got a bird home that's like a child, that of course you got to take care of your pet. Right. But there's other things, there's other stuff going on. There's family stuff. Right. There's friend stuff. There's doing this. It's like when I'm not playing, now in the summer I kind of go out more and see some of the other bands and support guys, and I try to push myself to go out. But when I'm not playing, there's nothing more I want to do than sit on that couch. Seriously. I hear you. Like, I get home from work on, say, a Friday, I don't have a gig. Say it's a winter Friday, not a summer Friday where I know somebody might be playing. Right. A winter Friday. I have a half day on a Friday. I get home. I shoot right to the gym. I shoot back from the gym. I get home. I do a little cooking. I take care of the friggin' my feathered buddy over there. Then immediately I'm on the couch. That is my Friday night.
You gotta get that the couch. The minute when I was younger and I used to go out,
right.
I would go out straight from work.
Yeah.
Because the minute you go home and your couch calls you,
right.
Especially God forbid you eat and sit down, done.
But Karen, the thing is, my half a day on a Friday is I get out at 11 o'clock in the morning because I start at 6.
Okay.
So I get home at 12. I'll eat a little bit of lunch and then I'll go right to the gym. So I take care of that part of taking care of myself or trying to.
Right.
And then the rest of the night I'm just, I'm going to be on the couch. It's what it is. Unless I have something exciting to do. Right. Or when I was in a relationship, it's a different thing. Right. On a Friday night, you're going to go out. Or you're going to do this. Or you're going to be together. Or you're going to do something.
Right.
When you're single and there's nothing really going on if you don't have a date.
Right.
You're going to sit on. You're going to do something else. You're going to text your friend who's sitting home. Right. What the hell are you doing?
Right. This misery loves company.
Yeah, exactly.
But you know what? But that is the funny thing is that now because of internet and because of social media and stuff, you can stay home and still keep yourself entertained.
Right.
So, which is good and bad, right? Because, now you'd like, and this is the part about getting a little bit older too, right? Is that you're kind of happy. All right, I'm home. There's nobody going to break my balls. I can sit down.
Exactly.
I can chill out. You know what? I don't have to get, like me, I don't want to, people don't realize. I got a kid, he's a little older now. He's 10, but he's still a baby, know? And
he's a kid.
And
gotta take care of your kid.
And I'm a single mom.
Right.
So for me, believe it or not, I espresso myself to stay awake. At this time, it is 9:15 right now. My son goes to bed at 9 o'clock. Do you know last night, I think I was asleep by 9:30. So people, I don't know
myself.
What I do. I don't know what people think that like the life of a rock star, right? Like they think whatever. I am not. I'm home. I'm with my kid. Like I'm exhausted by the end of the day.
And here's the thing: when you're home and you get done taking care of yourself or whatever, you're on the couch. Me on the couch is I got my guitar in my hand. I'm learning a song.
Right.
Being a tech geek, I love video games. So here I am, I'm on a shooter killing people for a little while. Right. It's just doing other things. I'm a big sports guy. I'm watching the Rangers or I'm watching the Yankees or you know what I mean? It's like there's so many other things going on, And then when you find somebody you like and you're interested, say you go out, you talk, you're both interested, but then not necessarily the other person has all the obstacles, whether it's smaller kids, whether it's hectic job, whether it's certain position.
Right, but you know what? And I get all of that. But that being said, people will say to me, "Oh, well, if you're a single mom, like how do you have time to, date or how do you have time to do anything?" You make time. Right. And so that's the whole thing is that, see, I'm talking about falling asleep at 9:15. Right. You should have espressoed up. I don't know what's going on. Yeah. Just wake up. But we all make time for what we want to make time for, right? Mm-hmm. Let's, like you said, if you're home because, and you're going to just, mush out, you're going to mush out.
Right.
But we make time. The same way that, you could be broke, but you always find that extra dollar to go do whatever it is that you need to do.
Sure.
Right? We make things happen. So,
exactly.
And, it's just a matter. My allergies are so bad. I keep scratching my nose. I'm sorry for everybody that's watching. You said earlier today, that's nothing to sneeze at. And I wanted to laugh. I was like, I've been sneezing all goddamn day. But, it is difficult to date, I think, once you're, in this later part of life. I think for a lot of different reasons. Number one, I think that we tolerate a lot less.
Without a doubt.
Which is good and bad.
Your patience is always running thin.
Well, and
I could say that right away.
And it's good and bad because it's good if you see red flags. It's bad if it's just because you are, like, intolerant. You got to get to know somebody. So a red flag is like, if maybe every time you see this person, they're drunk or, they have
you get in the person's car and there's garbage bags and an axe in the backseat.
Garbage bags and axe is
a serial
bad.
killer.
Yeah, that's not good. And you know what? Some of us would turn around and be like, "Oh, he was probably
he's a lumberjack. He's
chopping
trees
wood,
down.
In the back." And
we have a word for it. And I'm going to quote my other best friend who I grew up with, my buddy Steve, who you met before. Steve says, this one I met is undateable.
Undateable.
I told her she's undateable.
I like that.
Undateable. Is that even a word? Undateable.
It is now. I am now
Think about
putting it into the dictionary.
It's got to be in Real Talk glossary.
I think, isn't yo a word now?
Yeah.
So undateable. Is a new word. I like it. I'm using
this
it,
one
Steve.
is undateable.
I like it.
And
Usually it's undoable.
Yeah. The funny thing is with Vinny. Vinny will make me laugh because Vinny goes, "You say anything to these girls. You don't even care." I was like, not that I'm saying anything wrong, but I'm just talking to them in kind of conversation, Vinny's like, "You don't even care." I was like, if somebody's my friend and they're female persuasion, I'll say to you, I'll joke with you and say, "Karen, look at this friggin' whatever over here." Using one of my mother's words, we won't use the Italian word.
You can say it. It's in Italian anyway. It's okay.
You know what I'm saying. It's like, look at this one over here. It's like, but if you're friends with the person and you could feel like you can talk freely with them, it doesn't matter.
Nobody, no, that's not true because it's not politically correct. So if you see that, then it's,
Karen,
now
Stacy and the political correctness.
And you know me, I don't do that well. That's the whole thing is, like I said, the climate, everybody got something to say about something, and then because you are in the band, now you have that persona. So now you can't say that because now you're going to be a bad guy, right? So you got to watch what you say because now you're going to lose followers.
Right.
Because of whatever you said, which wasn't so bad.
There's a couple of haters.
Yeah. You know what? It is what it is. And, people are going to hate. But you know what? Like you said, it doesn't matter. As long as you are who you are. But, again, trying to meet people. So now you're out.
And being established now. Because now I'm at our age, right? I'm fortunate enough to say, I got a couple of things now. I got, I just bought a new car. I just, I feel like I'm a nice enough guy. I am an established in my life right now.
Right.
And I'd love to meet somebody that I can be compatible with and have things in common with and have a good time with and do a lot of things together. But like you're saying, the red flags immediately come with certain things with me. I feel like now I'm a little bit too critical.
But that's what I'm saying.
You know what I mean?
That's exactly what I just said. That's what happens is that it's
in
good.
Relation to what you said.
It's good and bad. Exactly my point. Because some of us, it's like the minute something, you're like, all right, you know what? Forget that. Like, like if you're dating me and I have a young boy and you say, oh, well, why don't you come by my gig, after you put your son to bed, and I say, you know what, I can't, I got nobody to watch him. You're gonna, right away, you're gonna start like, see, this is why I can't date somebody with a kid.
But if you, here's the difference. If you like the person,
right,
and you're compatible, and you feel something, and you think it's gonna work, there's chemistry. You make the compromise. Okay, I can't see her tonight, but I'll see her Saturday.
Right.
I'll see her Sunday afternoon.
Right.
Or, you make that comparison and you push it ahead and you look forward to it.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like that's normal.
But
that's,
yes, that is normal. But what I'm saying is that you might look at it like you said, you're a little quick. So you might get that, that flashback of when you wanted to hang out with somebody and because they had a kid, it made it difficult. So now the minute somebody that has a younger kid says to you they can't hang out, boom, that's going to bring up that red flag and that may cut you. Exactly, the trigger. Thank you. That was the word I was looking for.
Right.
So, that's my whole point is that you can't, but that's baggage, right? You can't take baggage with you because, you know what? I may be a great friend to you, but you may meet somebody else that's not a great friend to you. So that's neither here nor there. So you have to give each and every person. See, my feeling is always I give people, you have to give people the benefit of the doubt for a little bit. I know a lot of people
there has to be a trial period.
But a lot of people say no. A lot of people say
why,
no.
though? If you like the person, why would you say no?
Because
if you're interested.
Listen, I did this whole thing on my show about trust. The problem is that now, because we freaking know better, trust is a huge issue.
Of course.
Okay? So now you hear one little thing, and now right away you're like, boom. But then, like I said, then there are other things. There's the axe in the back of the car with blood all over it, and you think, oh, he cut himself while he was cutting freaking...
There might not even be blood on the axe. It's just the axe in the back seat.
Whatever. Right. But I'm just saying, it's a very, and so trust is an issue. So now red flags go up. Because if you were... cheated on, for instance, and somebody says something and they're a possessive type or whatever. Now, boom, the minute somebody says, oh, you know what? She's out there. She's doing that. She's definitely out there doing whatever.
Right.
And you're like, what? I'm home in bed with my kid. What are you talking about? Where am I?
Right.
You want to drive by? My car's in the driveway.
No, you're right. You're absolutely right. It becomes an issue there. And, timing has a lot to do with it. Timing has a lot to do with it.
Oh, hell yeah. Right. Like they say, right time, wrong person, right time.
Yeah, right person at the wrong time is a big key.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's and then when you meet somebody that you love to death and you're compatible and everything's great and there is certain issues, one of those people in the relationship, it could be yourself or it could be the other person, like you're saying, there is something comes up. There's a red flag that comes up. All of a sudden, the person acts a little distant. You don't know how to talk to the person. You don't know how to communicate.
That's
communication
huge,
is the big thing.
Huge. They start ghosting, and all of a sudden, I talk about this all the time on the show. Oh, you could text me 37,000 times, and now all of a sudden
you're gone.
You can't because I can't text you. Why? Because I'm at work. Well, were you not at work the other 27,000 times you texted me? So. People are right. So this is the climate that we live in, right? So now you're listening to Real Talk with Karen Stacy live on MiamiMikeRadio.com, and I am talking to JT from Who's Your Daddy, and we're going into JT is single. He hasn't been on a date in about a year, which I could probably, whoever's listening out there, they could probably say the same thing. I don't think anybody goes out on dates anymore. That was one of the things we talked about last week on the show, was that the gentleman was saying that, he misses the days where you got a home phone number and you actually picked the girl up for a date. And all that, because now, like you said, they have the axe in the back. You can't let them know where you live. Right. And you got to meet them in a public place and all of that. Because the way we meet people...
I have female friends who are friends of mine, good friends of mine I grew up with and stuff, who are dating on the apps and stuff. And I always tell them, always be aware of who the serial killers are, because you never know. I'm saying extreme serial killers, but there's a lot of nuts out there.
No doubt.
A lot of nuts.
No doubt.
It's
But it's on both ends, because I've heard guys say that there were women that showed up at their house out of nowhere too, they showed up at their house. That's crazy.
Yeah.
But see, now this is the thing.
You know me,
Karen. Why?
I know all about the stalkers.
You're an axe murderer?
No, I know all about the stalkers.
Stalkers.
I know all about the stalkers.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Not now as I'm older, but when I was younger, when it wasn't called stalking, we called, are they still called groupies? I don't know. There's no groupies anymore.
Yeah, I think so. I guess. I don't know. I think so. But now here's the question though. Do you feel that people, grow and let go and learn from what happened? Do people take the time to heal? For instance, you mentioned why the relationship, some of the reasons why your relationship didn't work. So do you feel, and I know you and I had a conversation about a year ago, and you were, still a little, heartbroken over that.
Sure.
So have you done the work where you're not, you're in a better place? Are you ready? Because that's the problem is, I think, like you said, a lot of people don't know what they want. So are you ready? Maybe the reason why you haven't been out on a date is because maybe you're not really ready, and the universe is...
I'm just not, I just haven't aggressively pushed it, I guess, maybe.
Right.
But there is a time period where you have, if you're with somebody 2.5 years, there is a mourning period that you need to take care of yourself.
And I said, but that's my point, is that a lot of people don't do that.
No.
Or they live in mourning,
Right.
and listen, you don't have to, mourning is, I live here.
You wrote the book.
I live here, so I get it. But you know what? You also have to put it someplace in order to move forward.
You're absolutely right.
So, and that's the whole thing, is that people talk about the climate and everybody wants to talk about, you got guys saying, oh, how fucked up women are. You got women saying how fucked up guys are. But you know what? Most of the people that are fucked up because they never fixed whatever was wrong.
Fix yourself.
Right.
Yeah.
Check yourself before you wreck yourself. So that's the whole thing, is that everybody wants to blame the other person. And I always say there's a common denominator. Who's the common denominator? You.
You have to look at yourself. You can't force it on the other person. You have to look at yourself.
Well, it's not about forcing it on the other person. It's about, you can't always, so many people like to play the victim.
Well, I was talking about forcing answers or forcing the other person to respond to you.
Right. Right.
You can't do that if somebody doesn't want to do that.
No, absolutely. And right, you can't. But at that point, that's the communication. So if the communication is lacking, then you got to go. That's the whole thing. Right. It's like, we're adults right now. We need to talk about things. Right. So if there's an issue, let's talk about it. Maybe we don't have to talk about it while we're both ready to kill each other. Right. But let's talk about it. Let's see what happened. And you know what? No one wants to deal with that. Who the hell wants to have those conversations? I just want to be happy. I don't want to argue with anybody. Right. I don't want anything. I just want to be happy. Anybody that knows me, they think I'm argumentative because I say what I got to say. Mm-hmm. And a lot of people go back at me where I'm not having an argument with you. I'm just telling you.
We're having a discussion.
Right. Yeah. I'm telling you how I feel.
Sure.
And I'm right. No. So it's not an argument. It's me, no, seriously, so a lot of people think that when you're actually having that dialogue that you're being confrontational or you're trying to fight with them, and that's not the case at all. No. You're just trying to talk and get it out there because communication is key, because the biggest misunderstanding between two people is miscommunication, right?
Of course.
So that's the problem. And that's what happens with everything, which is why if anybody starts talking about somebody, they should go directly to the other person, because 9 times out of the 10, that telephone thing screwed it all up. And the story went from being, Jane loves, Joe to Joe does Jane.
And there's the problem with the way technology is now. Years ago, you talked on the phone and you heard each other's emotions and you knew what you were feeling and you talked on the phone or you met face to face. Now, when somebody texts you, you don't know what they're talking about.
The first instinct sometimes, especially me, I'm a sarcastic wise ass. Right. So I can imagine.
And those of us who know you know that.
Right. So. But I can imagine. I lost a friend a long time ago because of that, because I don't know what the hell she thought I meant, but she was upset and that was it, done. And we never even talked. And I was like, whoa.
Terrible.
Yeah,
Terrible.
Because if you're not clear with what I say, or when you text somebody, if you have a little bit of you go, excuse me, or huh?
Yeah.
Or a question mark. You got to do something, but there's no emotion behind it.
Immediately
so you don't
comes off with aggression. You know what I mean?
Especially if you're defensive.
And that's the way the world is now because of all of this.
Yeah, because there's miscommunication.
Because you don't pick up the phone anymore.
Right.
I can't tell you how many people don't talk on the phone anymore. It's ridiculous.
It is true.
One thing about us being friends, when I call you, you pick up the phone if you can, and we bullshit.
Right.
Or whatever. We're talking about the show, we're going to do something, whatever. Right. You pick up the phone.
I try.
Or you try to, But there's so many people that don't, and if it's a more serious matter, pick up the friggin' phone.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's.
Sometimes, though, I will say that sometimes if you got to get something off your chest, when I was a kid, I always wrote stuff down. If I had an issue with my parents or whatever, I would write them a letter. Because at least I got all my thoughts together and I was able to express myself correctly. Right. So sometimes I think that some of us that trip on their words, there are also a lot of people that are able to manipulate the situation so that you have 6 things that you want to get across, but the person that you're speaking to will manipulate it so that you will not be able to get those 6 things out.
And let's face it, Karen, there's people that are out there who are not the sharpest knives in the drawer in a lot of instances.
Yes.
And that's no offense intended, but
no.
that's what happens sometimes, where communication needs to be even more stressed.
Correct, because they're not getting the right picture. But
right.
What I mean is that sometimes you have a smooth talker. So, like, you know, sometimes they can manipulate the situation. So if if I'm upset with you because, you know, whatever, you didn't talk to me about, you know, this gig that you were doing, and you're a smooth talker, and you turn around and you're like, oh, but you know, I love you know how I do my gigs. So now I didn't get to tell you how I felt because you just turned the whole thing around.
Smoothed it over.
And now I didn't get a chance to express to you how I felt.
How you really felt.
So that's why sometimes an email or a text message with a few, you know, it doesn't have to be a book, which I can write books, but you know, if you get a bullet, you know, point and you get your point across, sometimes at least you can convey a message that way if sometimes you can't do it with the person. But you know what I mean? That's when I think it's not a bad idea.
Right.
But it should not be the only means of communication, especially when you don't know somebody.
Well, you know, there's so many different forms you can use now. You know, whether you write an email letter or you handwrite a letter, which is most people don't do. You write a text that's in 5 different parts,
right?
Or you know,
that's me.
You know, you use different ways to convey your feelings sometimes, and depending on what medium you use. It comes across in different ways, like you're saying.
Right. Well, I think also the problem is I feel that people don't validate one another. That's a huge issue as well, because you know, if something happens between 2 people,
right. And respect is such a big thing.
Exactly. So if I'm saying to you, you know what, John, when we talked the other day, you know, I felt like you and you go to me, oh, I don't know why you feel that way. Or that's not what I meant. You know that. Right. The first words out of somebody's mouth should be, thank you for letting me know. I'm sorry that you feel that way, but...
I felt this way.
Right. But this was, you know, what I was talking about, or this was how I felt, and I'm sorry if it came across a different way to you, but that was all it was. So the problem is that a lot of times people don't validate someone else's feelings, and someone's feelings are never wrong. Because you're always entitled to your own feelings.
Because that's how you feel, right?
Right. So maybe, you know, it's not an accurate thing. Maybe your intention was not to make that person feel that way.
Sure.
And sometimes people are just crazy and they feel a certain way and there's no reason. It's not warranted. Mm-hmm. But you still should validate their feelings and then express yourself. And I think that unfortunately a lot of times people just like, you know, shoo it away. Or, oh, yeah, no.
Too many things are swept under the rug in relationships.
Yeah, exactly.
What are some of the fans saying? Anybody saying anything interesting?
Can you see that? I see communication is huge.
Yeah.
I can't see. I can see a little bit here and there. You know what? Yeah. I'll take my glasses off, and then I can see. All right, I'm getting in your face. You guys are going to see all my wrinkles now.
Let's not get started with all the simpletons out there.
Oh, boy. Different situations do warrant writing where others require phone conversations.
There you go.
Yeah, no, exactly. I totally agree. Or even better, write notes so you can have your phone conversation.
Right.
That way you don't forget. I always like the bullet points. Okay, I can't see. Well, I'm wondering. So, wait, John, we need to get you a date. Let's get John. Let's do that.
Jesus
let's do
Christ.
A real talk. Let's do a real talk date night. Let's do it. Let's get. See, look, now he's gonna kill me. Am I gonna get a text tomorrow, Karen? Why did you do that?
Why would you embarrass me?
I'm not embarrassing you. This is fun.
What is this, plug? Is this the dating game with Karen Stacy.
You know what? There is no we know, but that's the funny. This is the irony of life. 80 gabillion people. You have all these beautiful women, and yet you haven't gone out on a date. So how do you meet? Like, seriously, how is one supposed to meet people now? That's a big, huge question. How is one supposed to meet people? Yes, there's online dating sites which have their benefits, I guess,
or their non-benefits.
Right, of course. But that also comes with just knowing how to weed people out. But seriously, there are people out there that are listening right now, and maybe they haven't been on a date in a year also. And you got me and you, who are about as social as they come.
Right.
We have, all these circles that we're part of. We know all these people. Mm-hmm. So now, why haven't you been on a date? Is it because you haven't found somebody that piqued your interest enough? Is it because you just didn't put your head into it, like you said a few minutes ago? Like, why would you, or have you just not met those people? What is it?
I think it's a lot of different things. I think it's a little combination of everything.
But seriously, how the hell are us 40, 50-year-olds, supposed to meet people? Like, really, how are we supposed to do it? Besides online, yes, you go out, but a lot of times when you go out, people are either like happily single, mm-hmm. or they're with their significant other a mm-hmm. lot of times, or another thing that I'm not a huge fan of, and this is just me and my own personal thing. I'm not a huge fan. I don't like the rotation thing. I'm not with that. Like, you have somebody who, dated somebody, and then, they broke up and now they're dating the other another person.
Yeah,
I'm not a fan of that.
The rotation is just not for me either.
I'm not a fan of that. I always tell the story, I grew up in a total Guidet neighborhood, and I always tell the story about this guy that, got crabs. And he got crabs, and then everybody in the neighborhood got them.
I know.
Because I guess he was cheating on his girlfriend, and maybe his girlfriend was cheating on him. I can't say for sure, but there was a lot of banging going on.
And everybody got crabs.
Because everybody got crabs. So my point is like, I never understood that. And in these small circles, everybody knows everybody.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So, like, if you meet somebody, like, odds are, maybe they've been with somebody no?
Sometimes. It depends.
And now, how would you feel about that?
I don't know how I'd feel about that. It depends who the person is.
Okay.
It depends on who they are and what we're talking about, and not to talk about myself at all, but
we're talking about you, John. It's all right.
There's a lot of sides to me. There's not that I'm such a complex individual emotionally or the way I was brought up, but my life is complex,
Right.
During the day I have to pretend to be this tech geek, right? Then at night when I have to go play with the band, I have to be the washed up rock star and sing and entertain to everybody. And then when I'm home, I'm like this intellectual artist that likes to still sketch and read books and watch history documentaries. I don't know how to explain it,
So no, or
play video games with my nephew.
Actually, I think you explained it very well, and I think that's also.
And I love to cook. That's another thing. Another passion of mine is I love being in the kitchen.
Well, I don't remember you bringing me anything to eat. and that's huge as well, because I think that as we get older, our needs or wants become greater, because the want and the need is a bigger encumbers more, because it's true.
You're absolutely right.
That's the issue, is that if you are multidimensional, then you need all of that to stimulate you. So if you can't have just a party girl that wants to come see all your gigs, because now, yes, she's fun at night, but then you want to have you want to talk to her about your book that you're reading, and
Right.
you're not sure she can read. So, so that's what I'm saying. Now, people that know you, and that's the hard part about getting to know somebody at such a late age in life,
Yeah.
is that if you don't have that history with somebody, how do they get to know all of those facets about you? It's
Right.
not easy. You have to click, because it also has to be somebody that has all of those complexities as well, right? You have to meet a woman that probably puts on a suit and goes to work every day, and then she turns into Superwoman, at the end of the day, and she goes and celebrates life,
Right.
and then she's
Right.
reading a book,
Right.
in Central Park the next morning.
It doesn't necessarily have to be all those things, but
you know what I mean.
right. And listen, like I said to you before, I have no problem meeting people.
Right.
I don't. I listen. The workplace is not a place to meet anybody.
No, you don't
It's
shit where you eat.
It's a professional situation.
Never shit where
But
you
I'll
eat.
tell you right now, I meet a million women in my field. you
Okay.
know? But I know that it's a hands-off situation.
Right.
Plus,
Keep it in your pants.
the company's so gigantic that
Yeah. You
everybody
never know.
travels
Yeah.
from everywhere, and you don't know who knows who. And
Yeah.
like, I know the people in my immediate department.
Sure, of course.
But we're all friends and we're all co-workers, and there's none of that going on. But like you're saying, people are like, oh, how come you can't meet anybody at work? You choose not to meet anybody at work,
Right, because it's not political. You'll lose your job over that faster
of course.
than
Of
anybody.
course.
But I mean, my late husband worked he was a civil servant.
I need some wine.
Wine. I told him
Tracy.
to start drinking. And he used to have to go to classes because you couldn't say certain things, you couldn't look a certain way.
Right.
I mean, they were harassment classes and stuff.
Oh, yeah.
And he was like, he goes, you know what? I walk around with my sunglasses on inside because
I have to take the course every year.
Yeah,
we have
there
a
you go.
corporate test we have to take. Besides all the other tech tests you have to take,
Right.
there's a corporate test you have to take.
So I mean, now this is scary, but then now you would think. See, I believe in destiny. So I think that maybe it might not be somebody at your job. Maybe it would be somebody that you have worked with, and they have a girlfriend, and they go, "Oh my God, you know what? You and I have a friend of mine that I work with, and you guys would be perfect
Right.
for each other." Or it could be like an anomaly, and somebody, like Anne Marie is a follower of yours and goes to all of your shows, and her friend Joanne, who lives in Long Island, happened to come with her. She was spending the weekend, and she comes to a show. So it's random, and you do meet people. I mean, they say you meet them in the supermarket, you meet them wherever. I mean, I think that it's destiny, and nothing interferes with destiny, in my
Right.
opinion. Maybe I'm a hopeless romantic, but that's how I feel. So that's why I think it also depends on what you're putting out there, and I
Right.
don't know, maybe you're not putting it out there yet, because I think you're a little trepidatious right now, which we all are. And I
Yeah.
get it. I do
Look at
think
you.
that.
Look at you.
I do think that. I do think that. And I believe me, I am not a therapist. I just play one on the radio. But I do think that, I think we're all that way because, like I said, a lot of us in my last show said trust. Trust is a hard thing, and it's very difficult to put yourself out there again because you're opening yourself up. So you're either opening yourself up for something wonderful, or you're opening yourself up to get fucked again.
Literally.
Yeah,
Disaster.
Well, hopefully, literally, and
But then there could be a disaster.
Yeah, no, I that's what I'm saying. It can happen, but guess what? You don't know till you try, and you don't know till you know. So what do? You stop yourself from stepping forward? No, you step forward. Hopefully,
Right.
Hopefully there's no hole. When you
Right.
step, and if there is,
You don't
guess
fall
what?
into the sewer grate.
Yeah, but guess what? If you fall in, you'll figure out how to get out.
Right.
At the end of the day, we're all smart enough to figure that out.
Right.
But if you walk in with bruises and scars that haven't healed, if you just put a Band-Aid over these things, then you're never going to get anywhere.
No, you're right. You're
so
right.
as long
100%
as
right.
you have healed those and you can move forward, you can do it, effectively. So like my question would be, do you think that people can learn to be happy again. Can you be happy again in a relationship?
I definitely can be, but it has to be with the right person, and it has to be with somebody that you're compatibility is everything. Liking the same things, wanting to do the same things, wanting the same things in general.
Right.
Once you get to know each other, and wanting the same things in the future.
So the other thing,
moving on to the next phase of life.
Right, growing together,
right.
Which is a huge thing. But the other thing that I think which is terrible, I'm probably going to say this, but chemistry is huge.
Of course it is.
It's huge. And it doesn't necessarily have to be, it's not, look, chemistry is huge. So whether it's sexual chemistry is dangerous. But it's, what makes your heart pound will always make you pursue something.
Of course.
So, if there's no chemistry when you meet somebody, and you might meet a great woman and you go out with her and it's like you have a nice conversation, you enjoyed your evening, but your heart's not pounding.
There's no spark.
Right? So there's no chemistry there. So
right.
Unfortunately, the driving force, especially see somebody like you, okay? We are entertainers. We lead with our heart. We lead with emotion. So if something doesn't grab us like that, you were done.
Yeah, you're done.
Which is
absolutely
bad
right.
though, because that makes you make very bad decisions.
It makes you make bad decisions.
Makes you
exactly.
make very bad decisions.
Exactly.
Because when you, unfortunately, all of those things could maybe not work, but that chemistry is there and you're like, you know what? Nah, fuck it. I'm going to try it one more time. As opposed to you going out on a date, you're having a good time with somebody.
Right.
And you're like, how was your night? Oh, it was nice.
It was
did
okay.
You have fun? Yeah. Did you guys, have a... Yeah, no, I had a great conversation. He was a nice guy. He was really smart.
Right.
Okay, you're going to see him again? I'm not really sure.
Right, exactly.
And it's like, whatever. As opposed to, when you meet somebody that's freaking hot and you have this chemistry and it's, all about, the guy, the guy could be a total asshole, but, there was chemistry. No, okay. So, unfortunately, this is the bad part, is that chemistry does lead a lot of what we do. And hopefully...
Yeah, that's the major thing.
Right, because if you don't have that connection with somebody, certain people need that connection, that soul-to-soul connection.
Yeah.
And then everything else comes from it. Like you said, you're a multifaceted man. If that connection, that soul-to-soul, that chemistry, that thing isn't there, where are we going?
Right. And then the bad thing is, and it's always in the back of your mind, when you do have that connection and the soul-to-soul thing happens and all of that stuff is going on, when you run its course and you see that you're growing apart or you can't get it together and there's problems, that's when it really hurts.
It's harder, right?
It's harder,
right? Because
you're
separating,
right.
Not because you don't like each other or because of that. It's just you're separating because you just don't work together.
Right.
So that's different, and that's even harder because when your hearts are in the right place, but you just can't make it work.
Right.
That's really difficult. But I feel like as adults now, if we're going into this again, we're not going to have that problem because I think that the minute you see that incompatibility,
you're out.
You're gonna change that route. So I don't think that you would walk down that route again.
Right.
Because at that point you're gonna realize, you know what, we want different things. I can't have somebody, for instance, both of us, right? We can't be with somebody that's possessive.
No, not at all.
I mean, we talk about the fact I have, I mentioned this 100 times on my show. I have taken pictures with hundreds of men. Mm-hmm. And there was a picture of me and you, and with the bands, it was, and Vinny loved my boots that night.
Yeah.
Vinny had my shoe in his hand.
Right.
And we were all together, and somebody texted me, oh, I guess you're with the band. I guess you're with the guys from the band. I'm like, well, I'm always with the band, but I'm like, what are you talking about?
Right,
You know,
exactly.
I'm like, he's married. Like,
Exactly.
Are you kidding me right now? So that's why, like, people have to have, like, they have to be confident and they have to be trusting, right?
Because somebody told me at work today, you're going to laugh. Somebody told me at work today who I'm Facebook friends with, and I try not to be Facebook friends with too many people from work, but my friends that I've been working with a long time that know me, I'm Facebook friends with them. They say, all I see is you taking pictures with women.
With women.
Right. That's what they say.
And that's what they say to me. So they think I'm some party girl. And, you know, like somebody I know, you know, like I'm a party girl. I'm out all the time. Right. And I'm always with guys. Now, anybody that knows me knows that I have like a no-touch policy.
Of course.
I mean, seriously, I really do. Like, if I don't know you, don't touch me. Don't come that close to me. Yes, right. I'm very friendly and I'll take a picture. You get too close to me, you'll see me. I wiggle away.
I've seen you do it right in front of me. I swear to God. I've seen you do it.
Yeah, I don't like that.
Yeah.
You know, so I'm very clear about that. And I don't send mixed signals. Like, I think that people should pay attention to body language. Yeah. I really do. So if I'm trying to maneuver my way away from you, you need to back up. And I'm trying to be nice right now. And don't get me wrong.
Because you got to check yourself
before I wreck you. You know how many guys, and you know what? I love my Italian men. I had a guy, he was drunk, and he's a friend of mine or whatever, and he put his hand on my ass.
Oh, boy.
That's fucking lost my mind. I grabbed him, and after I had a drink or two in me, forget about it. I grabbed his hand, I threw it. I said, don't.
Were you throwing punches?
I threw his arm off of me, and we haven't really talked much since then. I don't know if he was too drunk to remember, but I'm like, you don't ever touch me like that. First of all, I don't give out the energy that it's okay for you to touch my ass.
No, I know.
Number one. My husband used to do it to me, and he used to do it just to piss me off because he would fuck with me and he would smack me or whatever, and I was like, don't you touch me! You know, because, I know it's a term of endearment, but it took me a while to understand that. But if I don't know you and this ass is not yours, do not touch it. And guys, public service announcement.
To put it bluntly,
not touch any woman's body that you are not paying for. No. That you don't own. No, whatever you want to call it. Whatever you want to call it. That's a public service announcement, free of charge. Keep your hands to yourself.
Anybody else saying anything interesting?
I don't know. Can we see why? Am I not saying something interesting?
No, you're
John?
interesting.
You don't like that?
No, I think it's great.
I'm not.
You're entertaining me for 2 hours.
All
what are you kidding me?
Very good.
Usually I'm doing the entertaining.
Let me entertain you. I don't know. What is
people make assumptions.
Assumptions.
And we all know why you can't just assume. Exactly,
because you're making ass of yourself.
Exactly, Diane.
Listen, you know
what?
Nicely. Again, it's not cool, and people really do need to educate themselves. And any guy that thinks it's okay, like I always say, look, any guy that thinks it's okay to grab your ass or to touch you inappropriately is dead wrong. That's A. B, when someone texts you, text them back. Respond to them. That is a huge pet peeve of mine.
Oh, I know.
Okay, so there are like a couple of things. Do not send dick pics. This is all dating 101. No dick pics. Do not ask women to send you pictures of their freaking como se llama or anything else. Like, I need to see nipple. Well, you know what? Go to Pornhub and you can see all the nipple you want.
Oh, boy.
Yeah. Well, that's real talk. Listen, you got me started, and now I'm on
I got you started tonight.
You got me started. I mean, and so now here's one other question. I had this last week, and I never got to pose the question.
Okay.
So, do you find that women complain a lot?
Some of them, yes.
And do you find that to be a turnoff?
Completely.
All right, so what are they complaining about?
I'm going to tell you the story.
Okay.
I'm glad you opened this up to the floor.
Oh, boy. Okay. Here we go.
There is a relationship I was in years back. Wonderful person. We were compatible, but a complainer about everything. Nothing was right. And I can remember my father telling me, as I bring up the Sarge again, I can remember him telling me, if he was alive, he'd be like, Johnny, this is what I call a problem broad. She's got a
undateable. Like what's Steve's
that's my buddy Steve.
Yeah, I know.
My father would say a problem broad, and I'd be like, Dad, what are you talking about? Isn't it obvious? Everything's a problem. She's got a problem with her sister. She's got a problem with her mother. She's got a problem with her boss. She's got a problem with her kids. She's got a problem with her car. Yep. She's got a problem with whatever. Everything's a problem. She's got a problem
for every solution you
have.
She's
a problem broad.
Right.
And women like that, the sad thing about that is that they're never happy.
Right.
You can give them $1 million. They're never happy.
Nope.
Ever. You could cook a gourmet meal every night. They're never happy.
You know what I think the problem is?
Problems with everything.
Right, but you know what? I think women like that, they just haven't gotten it good. That's what I think. Here we go again.
Here we go.
Dr. Ruth here.
Yep.
I think
Dr. Karen.
That's it. Dr. Ruth over here. The problem with women that are always complaining is that they need a good
stuffing.
That's it.
There you go.
They
we
need
use the Jewish terminology.
They need the hot sausage. There's for every woman that's a bitch, there's a man out there that didn't fucking do the right thing.
And there you go.
That's it. I just solved every problem. So women, go buy like the right toys or whatever so that you can get off and then
come calmly into the relationship and don't complain.
No pun intended, but boom. Come calmly.
I like that one, huh?
I like it. That was a little play on words, John. You're very crafty.
Oh, a little swift.
Very crafty. I like it.
But it's true. It's true. Listen, we all have our quirks. We all have our vices. We all have our things we love to do. We all have our pet peeves. But if you're interested in somebody and you like somebody and you want to try to, whatever you're going to do, you need to compromise and you need to see the person for who they are.
Yep.
Listen, the first step is looking at the person and being attracted to them. That's the obvious first step, is the chemistry. Then when you talk to them, you're able to communicate, and that's the next step to compatibility.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
And then you have to find out backgrounds. Listen, I make no bones about it. 99.9% of the women that I have been involved with are Italian. This is what my background is. True. This is what I'm accustomed to.
Right.
This is who I relate to in my culture.
Right. And there's nothing wrong. Listen, and that's good that you're honest about it.
I'm being honest about it. Listen, there's a couple of mutts in there. They're half Irish, but they're half Italian too, or whatever they were. But, I mean, there's got to be some kind of Italian background.
There you go. I'm Italian by injection.
Oh, there you go. No, but you know what I'm saying.
No, you
have to have similar backgrounds.
There's got to be commonality somewhere.
Cultures,
there's got to be commonality somewhere. And of course, those things are all, those are all very true. And the other thing, that was 3 things, which were all great 3 things. The 4th thing is you also have to be sexually compatible.
You have to be able to relate to each other behind closed doors. Let's put it nicely.
Wow, yeah, you are so I can't.
I'm used to doing an FCC hockey podcast where I can't curse. Well.
Yeah, but I didn't curse. I didn't.
Oh, you said a couple other things.
I did earlier, but not right now.
Yeah.
I didn't say that.
You have to make each other happy in that way, and you have to be compatible.
So I think I'm going to do a show. People talk to me about a lot of different things, right? So recently,
are we going to have the Karen Stacy dating game with
I don't
candidates?
know. You know what? You want me to do? Maybe I will do a dating game. We're going to get you you know what? That's a fucking great idea, John. Wait, I need 3 women.
I opened myself up to this.
You did, and I wasn't even thinking that. Now, I was going to sex, but I'm going to stop now. I want 3 women. Pass this around. Everybody share this video.
Oh, God.
Pass it around. I need 3 women that we're going to put
me.
on the dating game. We're going to get John a date. And maybe they have brothers, so I can get one too.
And you rope yourself right in.
I'm only kidding. It's all good. I'm just teasing. No, but yes, we're gonna do that. The dating game. We're on.
The Karen Stacy dating game.
The Karen Stacy dating game. We're gonna do that. Now, the other thing I'm going to do, probably in another couple of weeks, is I'm going to do like a Dr. Root show. I'm doing a sex show, and I'm not gonna do the bad sex show I did. Well, that wasn't bad, but I did a sex show that was a bit raunchy with a couple of different people. The first one I did, the guy that was doing it with me went a little overboard, so we're gonna pull back a little bit from that. But I want to do, it has been brought to my attention as we're talking about dating and we're talking about all these things. You know, there are a lot of us out there that maybe were married a long time. Their sex life was stale. You know, there are women that don't know how to orgasm. There are men that don't know how to bring a woman to orgasm.
Oh boy.
There are men that can't get it up. There are men that are, you know, do
There's
it for 5 minutes. Right. There are men that do it for 5 minutes and don't understand why the woman isn't coming. You know, so we're going to have a little like a Q&A we're going to talk about sex, because I think we should bring these things up, because as we get older in life, we want more. So if you were in a marriage that was a stale marriage,
and you're divorced now, obviously,
and you're divorced, yes. Well, actually, we could stick it now. Right, then I'll really get into trouble, right? Well, married people, we'll have all the horny housewives. No.
That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, there you go.
Daddy fans.
There you go. And we need 3 of you. No.
So bad.
We need 3. No, but seriously, I'm gonna do that show, and we're gonna talk about sex, and we're gonna talk about, and maybe I'll have people call in. I know it's a funky subject. Sometimes people don't want, you know, they don't want people to know that there are certain things, like, you know,
right.
You know what I mean? And there's
Right.
nothing wrong with that, because
Right.
it's an uncomfortable situation
Sure.
sometimes. But again, it goes to communication.
Right.
So maybe if people can ask the questions and feel confident,
30 seconds.
then maybe we can help.
Okay.
So I think that would be a cool thing. So maybe you guys can like email me, Karen Stacy at MiamiMikeRadio.com. You can email me, Karen at KarenStacy.com. I will never use anybody's names. If you use an email, and if it's not your actual name, I won't know it's
Everything will be confidential.
Yeah, totally. I mean, anybody that knows me knows everything is confidential. I never, ever use names unless it's, you know, verified or necessary or in context with. I never do that. People tell me a lot of different things. I never, ever tell anybody's business to anybody. Somebody could have told me this 5 minutes ago, and somebody could have told me this 20 years ago. So I just like to talk about topics that, you know, I like to bring it up to the surface. So let's recap. 3 ladies.
Oh God.
3 ladies for what's the show going to be? Karen, what?
It's the Karen Stacy dating game.
The Karen Stacy dating game. God help you if I'm doing this. God help you, or everybody.
God, the questions you're going to ask.
God help you, everybody. Yes, I'm going to ask them, how many books did you read? John needs mental stimulation. How many books did you read? No.
You got to like music. That's you gotta like music.
You gotta like music, right? These are all things. So we need music lovers, and we need non-possessive women, confident. And again, if it's you that's listening right now, then
well, you know somebody. That's you're saying. You're so funny the way you're putting this out there.
Well, I can't say for sure. But you send me a message, and let's do this. Let's get 3 girls, 3 ladies. And let's make this happen. And I might, this will be fun. And then also message me, like I said, with questions, because next week I have another John coming on. Like I said, he's an author and his songs and everything. So I've never met him before, so I'm interested to get to know him. I think the week after I want to do my sex show. But that might, unless it depends. Well, I don't know when 4th of July isn't yet. So
no, you got a couple of weeks.
I got a couple of weeks.
3-4 weeks.
So I want to do the sex show. So I want questions. I want you people to send me questions. Like, you know, what's your favorite toy? Or we can ask these questions. You know, so we have recommendations. I mean, why not, right? You know, and John's looking at me like, oh my God, I can't believe this.
This is going to be fantastic.
Fan-fucking-tastic, as my father would say. I love it. Well, I have to thank you for coming tonight and us, you know, chit-chatting and you being so open about, you know, not having a date
I thank you, Karen. And I asked you to do this, and I appreciate you letting me come on again.
Oh, please. Anytime.
And thank you guys for all listening and supporting the show. This is a great lady right here. Aww. She does a great job. She really does.
You're the best. See, that's why I'm with the bands.
She's definitely with the band.
Remember, you guys have to come see Who's Your Daddy when they are performing. So this weekend, recap.
Well, Thursday we'll be at the Saxon Grill this Thursday.
If Mother
2 days from now,
if Mother Nature doesn't tap dance on us.
Doesn't tap dance on us. And then Saturday night, I will be at the Sprain Grill with the Killer Clowns, which is the combo of all the different bands to jam right over there on the Sprain Parkway.
All right, hold on. I don't mean to interrupt you. I see a thing. What age is he looking for? So you're...
What age?
40s, 50s.
Let's say... Let's give a random age. What are we looking at? We're looking at mid 40s to mid 50s. Let's leave it at that.
There we go. Mid 40s to mid 50s. All right. You know what? I need more. Right. You into blondes, brunettes? What's your deal?
It doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter. All right. So the rest of it doesn't really matter. You want somebody that likes music, somebody that's intelligent.
You gotta like music.
Somebody that likes music and somebody that's intelligent.
You just got to start with some basic.
All right. So
topics.
45 to 55, gotta like music and should be intelligent. So that
should be intelligent. I just said, people read books.
Well, we want intelligence. He's a smart guy. You got a little bit of a geek. That's fine. We want a cool geek.
I had the geek part.
We want a cool geek like you. All right. So anyway, so now that was this weekend. So Saxon Woods, and then
the Sprain Grill.
Sprain Grill
on Saturday. So
right. Okay. And then and then you're in the Bronx the following week.
No, then I'm at the Ramblin' House in the Bronx, the 15th. 21st, I'm at the Putnam Golf Course up in Putnam County. That's a great gig with the buffet. And the 22nd, I'll be at Brewski's in Throgsneck.
And if any of you have not seen Who's Your Daddy, have never gone to one of their shows, you have to go. It is so much fun. They are amazing. And not only are they entertaining, but they're all really amazing, good souled people. As you see, John right here, he's
Thanks,
a good
Karen.
egg. So, it's a good, support. We always want to support good people. So, I definitely encourage you guys to come. And again, pass it around. I need 3 ladies between 45 and 55. We're doing the dating game. Karen something. Insane. I don't know what the fuck I'm doing. And then Dr. Ruth. We're going to do Dr. Karen for the sex thing. And I already see somebody already said they're going to send me a question. So send in the questions. I'm all over it. Let's have some fun, Well,
you're all about fun.
Well, yeah, because we're talking about, dating. We're talking about this climate. Let's all work together and make it happen.
It really is a part of our lives now.
Yeah.
Those of us
and it sucks.
that are single at this age.
Yeah. Let's all work and play well together.
Yeah.
Right?
Always play nice.
Yeah.
Karen plays nice.
Don't be jealous.
Exactly.
All right, so I have to go through a couple of our shows so that everybody knows where we're at here. Again, you're listening to Real Talk with Karen Stacy live on MiamiMikeRadio.com. I apologize, I went over like 5-ish minutes. But that's not too bad. We did good.
You sure? Okay.
I haven't gotten yelled at. No,
okay.
I've gone over a lot more than this now, so I don't get yelled at anymore, which is good.
That's good.
Maybe, yeah, I know. Well, so Mondays we have Luke at 1 o'clock, and then we have Paulie, aka the Portuguese Prince, at 6. The first Monday of every month is Mind Candy Mondays with Rob Mush. Tuesdays we have Steve, DJ Simply Nice, at 1 p.m. And then, of course, Real Talk with Karen Stacy at 8. Wednesdays, we have the Loyal Listener Show with May and Hamilton.
Yeah, May and Hamilton, yay.
Well, how did
My buddies.
Hamilton, that's good. Not Hamilton, Hamilton.
Hamilton.
That's how you know. When I try to talk and my words get all botched up,
that means we've been on the air too long.
Yeah. Exactly. Thursdays, we have Michael Anthony at 4 o'clock, and then Frankie Maggs at 8. Fridays, we have, again, DJ Simply Nice, and then Friday night sessions with Tony Sinapi at 10 p.m. Saturdays, we have the Ghazi Show at 8, and Anthony Mangini at 10. And then Sundays, we have Anthony Grimaldi. So I also want to remind you guys, and I want to thank our new listeners, because Miami Mike has made something called DISA, which is Digital International Streaming Alliance. So not only are we live on MiamiMikeRadio.com tonight, but also WFMU MLO, which I never flows off my tongue correctly. And there's a whole alliance now. So
nice.
we're all,
so it's a network of different
stations.
stations.
It's pretty awesome.
That's great.
So so you can hear our shows on different platforms, but we're all a family now. So it's pretty cool. So so that's it. So I think we're done.
Karen, thank you.
Thank you.
So
You're the
much.
bestest.
Thank you.
And thank you guys
for listening. You guys are awesome.
And the support. And don't forget to support Who's Your Daddy.
Just support live music, guys, because if you don't, then the bands go away.
Right. Absolutely.
So there's a lot of talented people out there you can see live. No matter what kind of music you like, there's a lot of talented guys out there and girls that are performing live for you. Support live music.
No
if
doubt.
You can.
No doubt. And sharing is caring. So please share the video, share the post. And I will put everything up on Mixcloud, and it's always on my podcast and everything. Remember, 3 women for John. 3. Okay? And we're going to do the dating thing. So we need 3 women between 45 and 55. And then I want you to and either email me or message me, find a way to get in touch with me. And then again, my sex questions. I need those questions.
Dr. Karen.
Dr. Karen is going to do, and who knows who I'm going to have with me for that one.
This is going to be fantastic.
Yeah, you know what?
You should have multiple guests for this, different people. Be great.
I know I might, or I might have multiple. See, you did that little tongue, that little play on words.
You know I slipped it in there.
Yeah. Oh, and now you slipped it in.
All right, I gotta go, Karen. You're taking up too much of my time tonight.
Multiple things that you're sliding in. All right, there we go, and cut.
Good night, guys.
Yeah, and cut. So yes, so don't forget questions, sex questions, and 3 women for this guy over here. Over here. All right, we love you guys.
Bye, guys. Good night.
Ciao, ciao. Okay, we're still